Howdy and welcome back to the Ineligibles podcast, week 1 preview, take 2. I am Will Stone. He is Chase Caldwell. We just experienced our first screw up in live streaming. Started the first 2.5 minutes of the show with the microphone on my MacBook and not on my on my real microphone, so it sounded horrible. So we're back.
We're back. That was a quick turnaround there too, boys. I was about to say that the same thing. I don't think that we've made a mistake at this point on live stream, but we used to make mistakes like this all the time whenever we would record it and then come back.
If you want to go watch the 2.5 minutes, you can't, because we deleted it forever.
Yeah, well, I learned today. I learned if you delete a video off of YouTube, you have to hit the button that says "delete forever," which I kind of like.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better than just delete.
I feel better about it being gone now.
It's kind of like I didn't mention this the other day, but for those of you who saw the 2-minute clip on Twitter, we may not have had as quick of a turnaround as Lucchese's did.
Oh man!
But yeah, Lucchese, they just straight tweeted out a promo video where they said the official boot of University of Texas Athletics, and it's got Jimbo,
It's like a maroon boot with an A&M logo on it.
Yeah,
the University of Texas.
Yeah, it was immediately deleted, and then immediately I mean they were very quick with it.
Yeah.
Had somebody that just really quickly recorded Texas A&M, and it like you could tell it's not even the same voice or nothing. So if you saw the original one, you can't unhear it.
That's funny.
But
That's
as soon as I saw it, I screen recorded it on my phone because I was like, yeah, that's getting deleted pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it did. But I've got a copy of it forever. I don't know what I'll ever do with it, but
yeah,
I've got it.
Well, if you're joining us for the first time, we do live streams on Mondays and Wednesday evenings on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's at Ineligible Pod on all social channels that we have. And we typically want to start around 7. Doesn't always happen. As of right now, it's 9:23. So we're a bit behind schedule, and that happens sometimes. But it will take place on a Monday and Wednesday evening, even if it happens at midnight.
What we're saying is go at Ineligible Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and press that follow button, press that subscribe button, then go on YouTube and just absolutely crush that subscribe button. Just press it as hard as you can. Break your screen whenever you crush that subscribe button.
Ring
the bell. That way you get little notifications that say Ineligibles is live, and then you can be like, "Ooh, hey, it's 9:15. They were supposed to get on it in 7, but hey, I'm gonna go watch it right now." That's what we're saying. So
what a nice surprise.
The bell icon, if you wanna watch live the Ineligible podcast, the bell icon is absolutely crucial, because I guarantee we will not come on at 7:00 every single Monday and Wednesday. It's just not going to happen. But thank you all for joining us, and Will, let's hop into it. What do you got for us on the No Huddle this week?
The off season is over at long last, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure if you feel this way too, but it seemed like, obviously the off season always just drags on and takes forever to get here. But this week it's kind of flown by, and maybe it's because because we do a podcast and we're super involved with that and trying to promote it and interacting with people on social media. But I don't know. I thought this week would drag by, but it's kind of been flying by, and before we know it, it's going to be Saturday. We're going to be in Kyle Field and watching the Aggie football team.
Yeah, I think. Well, I just kind of looked up a little bit ago, and I'm like, oh my God, it's already Wednesday, and Wednesday night at that. So then I'm like, well, I've got college football, legitimate college football on my TV for the next 5 days.
Yep, 5 nights in a row of good games too.
Yeah, yeah. There's at least one good game per night. So, It's exciting. I'm all about week one. It has gone by fast this week, but off season sure didn't seem like it did.
Yeah, no kidding. And like even with realignment, like at a massive scale, even with Jimbo versus Saban, which got old after the first like 48 hours of that
Hmm.
uh, debacle. Like even with all of that, like there was still, uh, you know, it just it there's never going to be enough things going on in the off season that are going to make it like make you feel okay with it. Like the off season sucks, it does, and
It does.
it is great to to get away from football for a bit and spend time with your family. So I hope you did that, but. Uh, that's all over now because it's football season, and this is going to take priority. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, what a slate of games that we have this week, and I think that's the best thing about week one is like I don't even care about some of the cupcake matchups. Like I want to see every single team, and I'll be starting off on ESPN 3 at 5 p.m. watching St. Francis versus Akron tomorrow.
hell yeah.
Can't wait for that one. But there's a number of pretty good games coming on tomorrow. Um, so what?
Saint Francis doesn't even have a hyperlink where you can click on their team in ESPN.
Yeah.
Saint, I'm trying to see what their mascot is.
I'll Google that as we talk.
um, yeah. So like tomorrow, like I I do I do like the games tomorrow a lot. There's two on at the same time that I'm going to try to keep an eye on both, and that's West Virginia at Pitt, the backyard brawl, and Penn State at Purdue, Big Ten conference matchup going on. I think they start like maybe an hour apart or 30 minutes apart. Yeah, one's at 6, one's at 7. Okay, so gonna try to multitask there, but two like impressive games. Friday's a little bit less, but honestly, like I'm still gonna watch it. But in terms of Thursday, I've been it's kind of funny, in the four teams in these two games, like each game has a team that I've been fading. Like I've been fading West Virginia. I think they're gonna really stink it up this year, and they have to play at Pitt. I think like this is. I know it's early in the show. This is my lock of the week. like,
Oh my god.
I think this line is maybe 7.5, and I just don't see any way that they keep it close. But um, like obviously Pitt's got a new quarterback, but it's Keaton Slovis who has been good at USC before. They lost Addison, the receiver, but they got some nice transfers, and they're very experienced on defense. So I think, and it's at home, like it's at Pitt. So I think all of that spells bad news for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be a good game nonetheless, though. I think. I mean, I'm interested to see how West Virginia will be this year. Who's their quarterback?
It's JT Daniels.
I was gonna say they got a good transfer, and I couldn't remember who it was, but I actually kind of like JT Daniels a bit. Um, so where
He was at Georgia,
he was at Georgia, but where was he at before that? Was he at Ohio State?
USC.
USC. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. It's a battle of the former USC quarterbacks.
Yeah, it is because I think like Slovis got hurt, I think, and Daniels like unseated him. So then and then Daniels transferred, so like Slovis stayed there as the quarterback, and now he's
Mm,
transferred as well. So
yeah. Well, I thought JT Daniels was at USC, but then I second guessed myself. But
yeah,
yeah, the battle of the former USC Trojans.
actually, I'm
Um,
sorry, I got that backwards. Daniels got hurt, and Slovis took his job, and then Daniels transferred because he's older. I feel like he's been around for like 7 years, but
he
um,
has. He definitely has.
yeah,
Um,
if he's healthy, he's a great talent. If he's got it figured out on that front, I could be wrong on West Virginia.
one thing that I've never considered until right now, but Um, would we maybe have a COVID year? And so, like, do we need to change the name of the podcast to the Eligibles?
The
We
we
might
have
have an
a
extra year of eligibility that we haven't used there.
okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah. Well,
uh,
I'm not sure about you, but I never redshirted, so or I've got 4 to play 5, right? I only used 4 years, so I've still got I can use one of those as a redshirt year.
yeah. Well, I took a red shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely ineligible.
But yeah, Penn State Purdue will be a good game as well.
Yeah, and it's at Purdue. Man, I feel like I said this last year that the Big Ten doesn't do Penn State any favors in scheduling. Like last year, they made them go. They played someone big, like Wisconsin, in week 1, and I was like, man, like give these guys a break. Like, if you want a conference game, like schedule Illinois or something like that. But you got to play Wisconsin. This yeah, and then Purdue, who's gonna throw it all over the place, and it's on the road.
Yeah.
If I feel like they wouldn't do that to Ohio State, they wouldn't they wouldn't make them go. Well, I guess was that game last year? Was that at Minnesota? I think it might have been that opening game.
It was at Minnesota.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I guess they will, but I guess the Big Ten just doesn't like their blue blood schools or their name schools.
Well, there's a number of other games though that I'll at least watch some of. Probably won't watch the whole game just because there'll be a bunch of them on, but I'll pop on the Tennessee game for a bit and see how they're looking this year, coming out of the gate. There's another SEC game in Mizzou and La Tech. Let's see what else we got on Thursday. Oklahoma State. I'll want to see if they're what I think they are this year.
I feel like they always play on Thursday. I feel like they're always like a Thursday, Friday opening.
Once
week,
upon a time we did too, and then we stopped doing that. I really wish we would go back to it. Really,
it was great. Yeah, I mean, there's between Tennessee and I think Tennessee hosts Ball State. That's on the SEC network. There's a couple SEC teams in action, and of course, you don't want to miss St. Francis at Akron. So make sure you're tuned in to ESPN3 at 5:00 Central. But all in all, like you can't put all the big games on Thursday. Like I think this is just the right amount. I would perhaps like a bit of a better like a better late game, but I think it's good for a Thursday.
I do want to make the point just because ESPN has it right here on their website, but you can get a ticket to St. Francis versus Akron for $23, or you can go watch Mizzou versus La Tech for $12. So
12?
Yeah, obviously St. Francis versus Akron is like the game of the week, because tickets are high.
I found St. Francis on Google, and oh my god! So their mascot is the Red Flash, but like the actual like costume mascot is absolutely horrifying.
Oh, we gotta see this.
Oh my gosh, it's one of the scariest, one of the scariest mascots that you'll ever see. That's straight nightmare fuel.
Everybody go Google the Red Flash right now.
Look up St. Francis Red Flash. I don't really understand like what he's dressed like a friar. He's got like a friar like cloak on, and it's red, and he's got like the little belt, but his face is just like crazy looking. Have you found him?
Yeah, I have. What's that? Is it Adventure Time? No, Rick and Morty. He looks like a character from Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Anyway, that's your.
In case you're watching, here's what he looks like.
Oh, there he is. That's so bad.
Yeah, that is awful.
I thought the Demon Deacon was bad. That's bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into Friday. Friday, I saw one good game. Oh yeah, TCU Colorado. That'll be a good matchup. I'm looking forward to that game.
That's the only one on Friday that I'm really into. Um, and it's late, but I'm still gonna watch it. Even though I got to get up early and get over to College Station early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, actually, I take that back. The first game of the night is on ESPN. It's Western Michigan at Michigan State, who
Yeah.
we talked about them a little bit uh, on Monday's episode with Robert with Robert Barons. That's kind of an interesting team. They're starting out ranked 15th. Um, they could make some noise again in the Big Ten East, but you can watch them at 6, and then TCU Colorado at 9. I I don't know if I don't think TCU has named a quarterback yet. They've got two good ones in Chandler Morris and Max Duggan, and they brought over Sonny Dykes from SMU to really throw the ball around. I think they'll be good. I think Colorado could be pretty bad, but it is in Boulder, so that can make it interesting. But I do like TCU to win and likely cover that game.
Yeah, and if you like to take red eye flights, or if you're just into red eyes in general, Illinois is playing Indiana. So it's red eyes versus orange red eyes.
Oh,
Red
yeah.
orange eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Illinois,
this was a shtick last year where I just tried to make everything into the battle of something, and I would just
yeah.
come up with just random names. Some of them don't hit.
Well, it's a Big Ten game, so there's probably a name for it. Like it's probably like the Floyd of Rosedale or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Illinois might be decent this year. I know they played a bad Wyoming team last week, but I was looking at the highlights of that game, and we just had we brought up our college fantasy league on here, and a former guest on this show, California Kyle,
California Cow.
he has the Illinois running back who was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list, and like the biggest freaks in college football, like athletic freaks. And his name's Chase Brown. He's a stud. Illinois probably not super talented at the rest of the positions that you need to be a winning team in the Big Ten. But hey, it's Brett Bielema. He's got him a great running back. They're probably gonna run the offense around him, and I don't know. They could be good. I think they play at Indiana. Indiana was kind of a darling or not last year, but going into last year after the COVID year. I think Illinois could go in there and beat up on them.
Yeah, they very well could. I will definitely be watching that game because I'm just going to go ahead and move my TV into my living room tonight. That way, I have a TV that I always take in my living room on Saturdays to where I can at least watch 2 games at a time. So I'll probably do that tonight and probably be just searching for football, no matter how I can get it. So that would be a good one to watch. Well, let's get into Saturday, Will. With, of course, a marquee game of the week, which is Washington on the Brazos. Sam Houston's coming down to the Brazos and playing your fighting Texas Aggies at 11 a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, there's not much to preview there, but we're gonna save that one for later and just talk
Sure.
about the other.
More on
games.
that later.
Yeah.
There are a few in the morning though. Other than, I think ours is probably going to be the main one that anybody be interested. North Carolina versus App State. That'll be a good one to watch.
That is to me, that's the other marquee game in that time slot, and
Yeah.
I think App State can go in there and win. Actually, I said go in there. It's at home. It's in Boone, North Carolina. It's not in Chapel Hill. So
Oh, whoa!
yeah,
It sure is.
And North Carolina, they ended up beating just a absolutely depleted Florida A&M team last week. Like they ended up pulling away in the second half, but that game got close in the third quarter, and I think Florida A&M had like 20 guys out for I can't remember why, but like they almost canceled the game, and
Really?
like UNC should have beaten them by like 40 points, and they kind of struggled a bit, and I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be if I was a Tar Heel fan, I would not want to be going on the road to Appalachian State in week 2 or in their second game in week 1.
Yeah. There's well, NC State's playing East Carolina, so there's some North Carolina matchups
Yep.
this week.
All,
NC State versus East Carolina. Oh, and NC State's going to East Carolina as well.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Somebody had to have strung all that together within like the state senate or something. Like, hey, we should really encourage our main schools to go to go to our
Yeah.
other schools.
I'm not sure if the average college football fan understands like how many like good programs are in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah,
Like
no kidding.
there's so many. Like Wake Forest is there. Um, Obviously UNC and NC State, App State's there. Like there's a lot of big time football being played in that state. Um, there's like the big like TV games. I guess like one of them is NC State at East Carolina, but the other one is Michigan hosting Colorado State. That's on ABC at 11 a.m. And I think Michigan's going to roll there. I don't think Colorado State's really any good.
Hmm.
They're not like you know, not just because they're in a smaller conference. Like if it was App State, I'd feel different. Like they're a good group of 5 team, but Colorado State is not. It's at Michigan, and I think Michigan's going to be pretty good. So
Yeah.
I could see that uh, definitely be a blowout.
But as the day goes on, the games get better, and nothing is more exciting to look forward to at the 2:30 time slot than Miami versus Bethune Cookman. I'm
we
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
we have to do some scouting on that and see how Miami's going to be.
I'm gonna look up Bethune Cookman's mascot as while we're at it, but let's talk Oregon and Georgia because I think that's a game I'm perhaps most excited about for this week. I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, I think like a big picture take on Saturday's games is the Pac-12 could really put themselves in a hole if Oregon loses to Georgia and then Utah loses at Florida, which I don't think they will, but that's not an easy place to play. But yeah, with Georgia and Oregon, Georgia, I understand why they're still getting a lot of love. I mean, they just won the title, like that just happened like 8 months ago, and they recruit as good as anybody. They're loaded with talent, but it's tough to lose that much. That like 16 draft picks or something crazy like that. Like that's so much. Even when you recruit well, like it's like there's going to be some kind of drop off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big it's going to be, but you're not going to see a repeat of Georgia's defense that they had last year. That's just not going to be the case.
Sure.
Um, and Oregon's they got Bo Nix. I mean,
Yeah.
if like he's as hot and cold as anybody. Like he could go out there and throw 3 picks. He could go out there and throw 4 touchdowns. He could do both in the same game.
Is he also going to be 30 this year? Because I feel like he's been in college even longer than JT Daniels.
Yeah, they may have been the same class.
Seemed like Johnny Manziel played against Bo Nix.
I saw this is a little off topic, but I saw an article by I think the Athletic. They had like the all geezer team. They just went and found like all the oldest players in the country. Like they had Miles Jones on there from A&M because
No
he's
doubt, no doubt.
like a 6th-year senior. It was pretty funny. There's one guy somewhere. You have to go look this up if you're listening because I can't find it right now. But there's someone who this will be their 8th year in college football. Like through all the different loopholes combined, red shirt, COVID, injury, medical red shirt, that kind of thing. this is going to be their 8th year. So
That's the luckiest dude in America because he got a doctorate degree paid for,
yeah,
like
yeah.
playing football and
And now he can get NIL money on top of
yeah,
that.
there you
He's
go.
like, hey, like I'm the oldest player in the country.
But yeah, Oregon, Georgia, I think is what I'm most excited for this week. Um, I'm just intrigued to see how both of them will be because I think Oregon's going to have a good team this year. I think Georgia will have a good team as well, but um, you're putting two of the best right out of the gate, and that's the design there, and um, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward to Cincinnati, Arkansas at the same time slot. Um,
Yeah, that's one of our pick'em games in our group, and I really wished it had been at 7.5 because then I would have hammered Cincinnati. I still took Cincinnati because the more I think about it, man, I think Arkansas comes back to earth this year, and you know, props to Sam Pittman and that staff for doing what they've done. They had a good year last year, and that's all fine and dandy, but their entire offense was Traylon Burks, and he's gone. Like
mhm.
he's with the Tennessee Titans. He's not at Arkansas anymore, and like the next 2 or 3 leading pass catchers all left as well. Like they've got a good
Mhm.
O line and good running backs. I think Jefferson's a decent college quarterback, but I don't know, man. I would. I think we talked about this on a recent show, but whoever made Arkansas' schedule needs to uh, apologize to Arkansas.
Well, they flew a little close to the sun. I'm picking Cincinnati on that as well, or against the spread at least. I think Arkansas can win that game, but uh, definitely don't think that Cincinnati's going to be a pushover team for them week one.
Yeah, it's
So
going to be a very competitive game, and
yeah,
man, like
absolutely.
this 2:30 time slot is just loaded. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna have like I think we're gonna try to watch the game somewhere uh, after our game is over with. So we're gonna have to find some place that's got like you know 30 TVs so we
Yeah,
can be in there and check everything out. But
maybe we can go to the locker room and watch them on the like 9 TVs that turn into one TV. That'd be kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah, if that's an option, I'll definitely cast my vote for that.
Yeah, I'll call Montana and see if he'll let me. He, the answer's probably no, but it's still gonna mess with him anyways.
You never know until you ask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we won't be able to do that, but it would be cool. I like to dream. Um,
Also,
Houston UTSA will be a good matchup.
yeah, like these guys are battling for the premier non-power 5 team in Texas. UTS, like both these teams had a really good year last year,
Hmm.
and both teams bring back their quarterbacks. Man, it's tough. It's at the Superdome, or not the Superdome, at the Alamo Dome at UTSA, and man, I took Houston on our pick 'em, but it was the hardest decision that I made for those set of games.
Yeah, I would probably go UTSA on that one, but I don't know. I think that may very well be one of the best games of the week.
Yeah. Also at
Just
2:30.
yeah, very evenly matched teams and very good teams for their caliber of play for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what are the 2:30 time slots or 3 o'clock time slots we got?
Don't leave out UTEP in Oklahoma. Um, that's on Fox at 2:30. Man, Fox just like I get it that people want to like these teams have big fan bases. They want to watch their team beat up on somebody, but um, come on, like who's gonna watch Oklahoma UTEP over uh, Houston at UTSA? Probably a lot of people, but the true college football fans, I think, would prefer to watch Houston at UTSA.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I can watch all of them. So
Don't
and
forget Bethune Cookman at Miami at 2:30
yeah. Which
on the ACC network.
as I was doing my Google there, number one, they're the Wildcats. But
It's
number
not that
two,
bad.
have you ever heard of a space grant university? Like we're a land grant university. Bethune-Cookman is a space grant university.
So they got their grant from space.
Yeah. So if
It's like
if
Space
we
Force.
if we got ours by like being donated land in like Utah and then selling it and making a university with it, what do you think that they sold? Do you think they sold like Elon Musk the moon? Like they might have like crazy money. You can't ever tell.
Are they one of those companies that will like you can buy a star from them? They're like, hey, like give us $100
Probably.
and we'll name the star after you.
Oh, that's probably is what it is. You're right. Wow. Um,
Man, if you have plans at 2:30 on Saturday, like non-football plans, call in sick or cancel. Like you're gonna want to be in front of a television at 2:30.
if you have
And
plans at 2:30 on Saturday and it's not college football, I probably don't even know your name.
you're
I,
probably
I
not even
mean,
listening to the show.
yeah, you're not getting a happy birthday comment on Facebook from me. I'll tell you that. Um, let's see. All right, moving into the evening time, I guess. We've got 7 SEC games, all at the same time. So good luck.
Most of them are bad, but
Yeah, but
the
still.
the good one, Utah at Florida, Utah playoff hopeful, coming over to the swamp. I think we said on here a few weeks ago we really don't know what to make of Florida. I think the spread is Utah by 2.5. Should be a tight game, but I just don't know I don't know what Florida has. Like I don't know how they're going to look with a new coach, new offense, and all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And Utah, man, I think Kyle Whittingham's one of the most underrated coaches in the country. I love what he does out there. Um, and I think they've been building towards this as like this is going to be their year, and they got a good quarterback in Cam Rising. Man, that's going to be a banger of a game.
Yeah, really, I think that's Florida's kind of holding it down for the SEC there, because I expect Utah to go in and just decimate Florida, but if they can keep it very competitive, then that does good for our whole season.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. That'll be a good one. See, that's what I don't know. I feel like this year there's more like marquee matchups in week 1 and 2 than there normally is, and 3 for that matter.
I feel like week 3 is I think week 3 is a pretty good week. In terms of the schedule. It's usually like week 1 is awesome and then everyone plays like their crappy schools and it just kind of falls off. But
Yeah,
this year like A&M Miami's in week 3 and
yeah.
Bama Texas is week 2. There's other games that we'll undoubtedly get to, but
Mhm.
this is a really really stout week 1.
Yeah, especially with Vanderbilt or Elon, like Elon Musk is playing the entire Vanderbilt team at
If
Vanderbilt
if Vanderbilt beat Hawaii by 63-10, how bad are they going to beat Elon? Like it's going to be
to the moon.
to the like Vanderbilt to the moon. Also,
That was
uh,
a high level joke there. You know,
Vanderbilt's win total going into the year was 2.5, and like they might hit it in the first like 3 weeks after beating Hawaii, and I feel pretty comfortable that they're going to beat Elon,
yeah,
even though his stock's at an all time high.
it's to the moon. Um, yeah. So, um, I think. How do you feel about Notre Dame, Ohio State?
I don't think it's going to be the blowout that everyone's predicting. Um, if you listen to people like this, I mean, and the spread's like 15.5. Like it's a sizable margin, but I don't know. And I don't know how like what is what is a Marcus Freeman Notre Dame team going to look like compared to a Brian Kelly team? Like this is
Yeah.
Brian Kelly. I would say, yeah, they're going to cover that because they're going to play slow. They're going to run the ball. They're going to bend, don't break, and try to keep it close and try to steal one. But I don't know. It could get out of hand, but um, I think Notre Dame is a quality team, and it is at Ohio State, which that's pretty frightening. But um, in the end, Ohio State's got too much speed. They're going to score a lot of points, so Notre Dame's going to have to try to keep up. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Notre Dame's going to get handed an L week 1.
So they dropped from 8 to 9.
Yeah, right. Or
Are they?
5 to.
They're 5.
Yeah,
I was looking at somebody that was 8. Yeah. So they're 5. So A&M related, if like A&M should jump them after they lose to Ohio State. I'm not saying they will, but they should. Like, unless we just,
I'm not going down that road.
You don't think so?
No, because what'll happen is, let's say Notre Dame is a 1-loss team to Ohio State, and A&M's a 1-loss team to Alabama. I don't even want to talk about this, because if we're a 1-loss team to Alabama and they're a 1-loss team to Ohio State, I already know what it's going to be. Oh, well, that was week 1 for them. They got better as the year went on. A&M lost midway through the year, and then they would jump us again. I'm just not going down that road with them.
They do play BYU, USC, and Clemson on top of Ohio State. If that gives you any hope, teams that can beat them. There's a lot of teams that can beat them. They also play, Boston College and at UNC. But
I didn't see this comment from my buddy Brady earlier, but he says, when Sam Houston beats A&M, will Jimbo get run out of town? Yeah. Jimbo's also going to get run out of town whenever pigs fly, Brady.
I'd like to piggyback off of that for a second. I root for Sam Houston when they play football, because what they do doesn't affect A&M. I feel like and I'm sure Brady's being facetious here, but I feel like there's a lot of Sam fans that just like get like torqued for this game. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go in there and beat them, and it's gonna be so good." And I'm like, guys, like it's probably not gonna happen. But you're gonna do really well in FCS.
I knew a lot of people that lived in College Station that went to Sam.
Yeah,
because it was a big commuter school, and so like I think there's an affinity between the two schools, but it's a fun little prod at each other. I mean, Sam Houston's a great football program.
Absolutely,
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But
they lost 1 game in 2 years.
I would much rather be playing Sam Houston than I would Colgate. I mean, I haven't even heard of some of these teams I'm looking at.
I haven't heard of St. Francis. I don't want to go revisit that whole thing, but I can't even tell you what division they play in.
Space. No, wait, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one.
That was Bethune-Cookman. Okay, so yeah, St. Francis is an FCS. They're just a really bad one.
Okay. Somebody's got to be 130.
To get us back on track here, anything else in the evening slate? I feel like Auburn plays Mercer every year. That's just a random thought I had looking at this slate of games.
Roy Dam.
Ooh, here's a decent one. SMU at North Texas. That's sneaky good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
The UL Monroe Warhawks at Texas.
They're playing in the Big D and don't mean Dallas, because they're playing in Denton.
Yeah. Denton. We saw a few weeks ago, we were watching TV and we saw a commercial, like a promo for UNT, and they were like, "We have the #2 food scene in all college towns." I'm like that's such a weird thing to like put in your hype video.
I forgot all about that. Oh my god!
Was that when y'all?
Yeah, I was there whenever we saw it. Oh, we were dying laughing. Oh, the #2 place in Texas for food.
God bless them. Bless their hearts.
I also think Memphis, Mississippi State will be a good game.
Oh shoot, that's this week. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I kind of crapped on the SEC games earlier, but that's definitely a good one. Um, Kentucky host, not Ohio. They host Miami, Ohio, not Miami, Florida. I don't want to get that confused. Future A&M opponent UMass plays at Tulane. Uh, is UMass going to be 0-12 this season?
No, when we play them, they'll be 0-11.
Man, if they don't beat Stony Brook, it's over.
In Stony Brook, a high school. I'm pretty sure that's the high school that my cousin Cooper went to.
Well, your cousin Cooper's high school, Stony Brook, could probably beat UMass. Oh man, I feel bad for like they're just catching strays from this podcast, but you know, don't if you're gonna schedule us, that's the way it's gonna go.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, nothing against people that actually went to the school, but I want to play a Texas team. You know, if we're gonna play,
No doubt.
small schools like that, like, I love that we're playing Sam Houston, but I would love to play Prairie View A&M instead of UMass, and I've gone on that tangent before, but figure it out. You know, why are we sending money to Massachusetts of all places? Like, the entire state's like the size of DFW.
Right. Boise State at Oregon State in the nightcap. I'll probably be watching that on the drive home from College Station.
No
except
doubt.
for that 15-minute stretch where I lose service. So
Yeah.
I'll have that on. Oh, that's on ESPN. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching that. Could be a win for the Broncos. I don't dislike Oregon State. I think they're a fine program, but see, this is what I don't get. I don't know if you're a team that just wants to make a bowl, like why are you scheduling hard teams? Like schedule Sacramento State or Portland State or someone like that. Like don't schedule Boise. They're going to come in there and beat you. You're going to pay them for them to beat you.
Yeah. Hawaii and Western Kentucky start at 10:59 p.m.
That could get pointsy.
Obviously, I know that that's at Hawaii, but
what time is that Hawaii time?
Probably like 4 p.m.
Like still sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that really tripped me out whenever I was watching the Vanderbilt game. I'm like, what time is it there?
Those poor fans, do they ever get a night game? They never get a night game at home.
Oh, no. For them, Sundays are for college football. Or Fridays, I guess. Wait, now I just confused myself on how time works.
It would be Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday morning.
All right, well let's jump in the last two games of the week, and then we can kind of cap it all off. Sunday and Monday. So two really good games, actually.
Very, very much interested in Florida State LSU. I believe they're playing that. I said the Superdome earlier. This game actually is at the Superdome at the Caesars. I think is the new sponsor of the Superdome.
Little Caesars or Big Caesars?
Caesars Palace.
Caesar salad. Okay.
The real Caesar's Palace where Caesar lived.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So kind of a home game for LSU. Just like an hour drive to New Orleans from Baton Rouge, but very interested in this. I think LSU's favored by 3.5. Florida State looked solid last week. I think they got some transfer from like Albany, like some like stud defensive end, and LSU's weak point is their O-line. So if that dude, I don't even know his name. I think his name's Jared Verse. So Jared Verse and the rest of that D-line can cause some pressure. LSU might lose this game, and this could be like LSU at UCLA last season where they lost and things just never got back on track.
It just crumbled. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because both of them are rebuilding their program. So I think it's an even matchup for sure.
Yeah. Monday is Clemson at Georgia Tech. I feel like this is usually like I feel like Clemson always plays Georgia Tech on the opening week. It just like moves days. Like it's been on Thursday, it's been on Saturday, now it's on Monday. Would have preferred a better game here. We're probably going to be. I mean, we're 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 most likely going to be live streaming during this game. Like
Oh yeah, that's
our
true.
our week one recap will likely be during this game. So the good thing is it probably won't be a game for very long. It could be over as soon as the first quarter because Georgia Tech's one of those teams that like just got murdered by transfers, like mass exodus of the program. So
Yeah.
it does not
Clemson
look
did too,
good.
though. Clemson lost a lot of players and like all of their coaching staff. So
Yeah. The,
uh,
the coaching staff's interesting. If this game is close, that's a bad sign.
yeah,
If you're a
no
Clemson
doubt.
fan, this game should not be close at all.
Yeah, but as most Clemson games go, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But it'll be a good indicator, I think, to see how Clemson is a good measuring stick for how their season's going to progress.
Yeah.
I don't see the hype in Clemson this year though. If anything, I think the ACC is wide open, and I don't know. We'll see.
I
They
think
can
it
prove me
is.
wrong.
Yeah, I think it is. This is kind of the last year that I'm going to give Clemson the benefit of the doubt. Like they still have a lot of D linemen that are very, very, very good, who are probably bound for the draft after this season. So
Hmm.
once that happens, I think and Clemson, like they still recruit just fine, but um, I think they take a big step back going forward. And teams like Miami are coming up. Teams like NC State and North Carolina are coming up. Wake Forest is scoring points. So um, Florida State, like this death grip that Clemson's had on the ACC for the past few years, I think it's starting to weaken a little bit.
No doubt. I absolutely think it is. I don't think they're going to be Bama, and it just never will go away. I think it's one that they're going to begin to crumble. But again, they
Do
could prove me wrong this year. But um,
you
I
think
think
if
it
it
already started to last year.
do you think if it does start to decline when Saban eventually retires? I guess one, do you think Dabo would go to Bama? Two, do you think Bama would even want him?
One, yes. I mean, who wouldn't go to Bama?
Right.
But two, I don't know. It'll just have to depend on what his teams look like. I think Dabo's a good coach, but somebody else might nab him beforehand too. You can't ever tell. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I'll give more thoughts on that after the season,
Yeah.
after I see how they do this year. Because if they have another subpar year, I think they're back to where they were,
Yeah.
and then that might completely change the outlook on Dabo
Yeah.
across college football, at least.
Man, this is a great week one. It almost doesn't feel real. It almost feels like, you know, games run another month. Like it probably won't feel real for me until I'm sitting on my couch tomorrow night watching the backyard brawl, and I'm gonna be like, okay, this is it. Like
It
football's
will,
back. Like I've got to pack for College Station. Like I've got to start planning my travel plans for Saturday. Like it's real.
yeah. It won't feel real to me until they come running out of the tunnel on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Because I'll be watching the games on Thursday and Friday, but it's still not going to be. It's going to feel like it did last weekend.
Right.
And being there, then all of a sudden it's just gonna be overstimulating. So
Man.
can't wait, can't wait. Um, well, do you
Well,
want to talk anything about A&M or?
yeah, we might as well. We've come this far. Obviously, not a ton to really break down as far as you know the matchups and players to watch and things like that. The two players, I think I said this on a previous show about Sam Houston. The two players I would have said to watch would have been their quarterback and receiver, Eric Schmid and Jaquez Ezzard. Both gone, both studs and both gone. They do have a lot of transfers apparently from Power Five and like bigger schools. So um, that's always interesting. Their coach is fantastic. I mean, obviously, like
Mhm.
they're they're not quite North Dakota State, but like a really good like a great FCS program. And that's really my only point. You know, for them is like they're not like last week UNLV beat Idaho State by like 50 points, and like Sam Houston would beat Idaho State by 50 points.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sure.
like those two are not equal just because they're both FCS. Like Sam Houston would beat St. Francis by a considerable margin. So um, Sam Houston's a really good program, and yeah, I think there's something to be said for teams that are used to winning. Like they
Mhm.
win pretty much all their games. And
Sure, sure.
that's just how they are. But when it comes to like you know the matchups in the trenches and just like overall size and athleticism, like obviously A&M is going to be overwhelming from that aspect. But
Mhm.
I think what I want to see is it, I'm pretty sure the last 3 years in a row, A&M has not looked great in their first game. Like 2019 against Texas State wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. Like we gave up a lot of sacks. Um, Obviously Vanderbilt was horrid,
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
17-12. That was a absolutely awful way to start the season, even though you won. Um, and then last year, who was last year? I can't even think of it right now. Um,
Last year was, oh my gosh, I can't think of it either. I just watched it last night too.
Kent State. Okay, yeah, man, I just blanked for a second. Kent State. Kent State. That was okay, but 3 turnovers by the offense, and like the O line was still like I think there were signs in that game that hey, this O line may not be as good as we expected, um,
Mhm.
and I don't know, like just little things like that, and just general sloppiness. Like I know it's going to be sloppy. It's the first game of the season. Like there's going to be rust to knock off, but um, I want to see some concept of like, hey, like things are looking sharp. Like people are,
Mhm.
executing their assignments and doing what they're supposed to and making plays. And I think more than that, I'm just excited to see this team. Like we've been really high on this team all off season, and I just want to see them in person, just see what they do.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait. I want to see a. I mean, like you said, there's going to be rust, but I want to see as little mistakes as possible. I want to see a very. I don't care about going out and blowing them out. I just care about having a very um, uniform game
Yeah,
where everybody's doing their job, and that's what I'm hoping to see this week and next week. And then that way that'll give me a lot more confidence in the season because there's still question marks, and we've gone over that all off season, of course. But um, only way to take those away is these first couple games, and then
yep,
you see us start to put it together. So
yep.
I don't know. I'm somewhat nervous. I don't know. It's kind of funny because like I think about you mentioned the Vanderbilt game a few years ago. Like I
It
went
was
into
bad.
that
It was
game just
bad.
knowing that it was just going to be a great game, and we're just going to be just so stoked going into the season. And I've never been so just downtrodden after a win, and so there's nerves that might happen, because there are enough question marks that it could. But but I do think that I do have confidence that we're going to go out and really show up, and I think this is going to be a great year for us.
Yeah, yeah. I think like like the execution. Like you don't want to see missed blocks. You don't want to see blown coverages and things like that because
Right.
like even though they got some transfers, like I'm sure they got plenty of guys who, you know, just won a title at the FCS level. Just went 11-1, 12-1, or whatever at the FCS level. So like, they've got guys that have been playing together and playing well together. So,
Mhm.
um, and like they're definitely gonna have some rust just like we are. But um,
Yeah, turnovers are part of the game. They don't bug me as much as they do some people. it's the confusion on the field that I don't want to see. I don't want
Yeah.
to see, where guys are lined up wrong and, they're rushing around trying to fix things. If we don't have that, it's going to give me a lot of confidence, so.
Actually, I just thought of a big one that I want to see. I want to see some tempo. I thought we saw some against Kent State. You know, some Sumlin teams or Sumlin teams, some Jimbo teams, like especially when actually his entire tenure because Calzada was a quarterback most of last year, but it just seems like it takes forever to get into the right play and like
Yeah.
get the call in, tell the linemen, tell the receivers, get everyone where they need to be. Okay, there's 5 seconds left. I'm gonna snap the ball. Like I I don't think he wants it to be that way. I think with someone who knows the offense as well as Haynes King does, I think he probably wants to speed it up a little bit, and
Hmm.
that's something that I would love to see. Obviously, I think Adam's going to win this game, and I think
Yeah, sure.
I think it should be in dominating fashion. But like things that you can watch for and take away that aren't negatives, I think if you see more tempo, and obviously how does King look? Are his passes on target?
Hmm.
Is he overthrowing guys? Is he putting the ball in harm's way? Um, is he going to run? Like what are they? And they're not going to throw. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting off on a tangent here, but they're not going to throw every wrinkle in the offense at Sam Houston. They may not be like vanilla, but like because they want to get reps and see what they can do. But I think we see some interesting things on offense.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think that about does it for week one, Will.
yeah, I think
Um,
so too. Man, at long last, that's what this entire show is about. This is a college football show. This is an Aggie football show, and as excited as we are for this season and what this team might do, um, we were looking at plans for a ski trip in December, and I'm like, well, the semifinals in Arizona, but the championship games in LA,
yeah,
and like not that I'm assuming that we're going to be there, but it's just something to keep in mind.
sure.
Uh, I've already told Brittany I was like after her birthday, which is the Bama weekend, I was like if we're 6-0, if we go and beat Alabama, I'm booking our tickets to Los Angeles for the title game. So
Yeah, no doubt about it. I will spend an insane amount of money to be there. So
yeah, should be a fun season. I can't wait to watch it all. Can't wait to be back in College Station, be back in Kyle Field, and watch my favorite team and watch them perform. I'm as excited as ever.
yeah, it's Christmas Eve. This is our last podcast of the off season.
Yep.
So
Goodbye off season. Don't let the door hit you.
yeah, we'll see y'all on Monday, and we'll be talking about real college football.
All
It's
right.
exciting.
See ya.